There's a new Last Airbender movie. Aang, The Last Airbender. Wow, a new one.
Wow.
Did you know? Because I tell you what, it's not like Paramount's gonna tell you. This film was supposed to come out in October, and then they released a trailer for it and were like, yeah, no, it's releasing in 2 weeks. And it wouldn't surprise me if this video is someone's first exposure to this film, because it's really gone under the radar. It's the Avatar gang all grown up having a cool little adventure. It doesn't have a cinematic release. It's not had much promotion. It's being very silently dropped, which is a shame because it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling when films get shadow dropped or a beloved series that has a continuation just gets dropped out of nowhere. This film was leaked earlier this year. That was very sad to see because the animators worked so hard for this film and all the people involved. It's just so sad to see that people won't get to really experience it in the cinema because the film does look beautiful. And then there's a new Avatar series along the way that's coming out, and that's getting dropped all at once. This is something quite serious. It's quite dangerous to the animation art form because everything's just getting dropped all at once and doesn't really seem to get any attention. There's something really upsetting about this underneath of it all.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
The bottom line for what's going wrong with this film is Paramount. They're a studio who just doesn't care about art. You know, their current head, David Ellison, isn't doing anything good for cinema. We've already discussed on this podcast before Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the way that the latest shows and films of that have been treated and cancelled. It's exactly the same with Avatar. The upcoming show is called Seven Havens, and it's not just getting dropped all at once, but it's 26 episodes. We're not talking about like a 12 episode drop. We're talking
No.
about over double of that. Ridiculous. But what we have here is, I think, even more sly because this film was supposed to come out in October. I had it all planned out.
He had it all planned out. Everything was crumbling down as I saw that post on Twitter saying the movie's going to come out in 2 weeks' time. Here you go. And this really ruined for the both of us to really experience the whole Avatar series again. It just makes it sour.
I hate to start the episode with all this, but I think it's an inherent part of this film and of our experience. We were going to watch the entire original series and do a video on it. We're going to do a video on
Yes.
the M. Night Shyamalan film.
Even that? Okay, wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's
We were
yeah,
gonna we were
yeah,
gonna
wow.
cover this in anticipation of this film, and because it was moved up so much with so little time, we couldn't watch the entire 3 seasons in a
Oh no.
week. We don't even have space for an episode on that. So yeah, we're covering this 2 weeks after it released. We're recording this the day after it's come out, so I couldn't even tell you if it's popular or anything. But I do
No.
believe that if it was released at the cinema, it would have been popular. It has been released in, I think, 2 cinemas in America, so no luck for
Only
us.
2 cinemas.
Only
Wow.
two, which makes it eligible for awards, which is undoubtedly the reason why they have done this. But regardless, we have the film here. A number of years after the show, everyone's all grown up. And there are these people called the Denied who
hmm
are very angry that they can't bend. And they're in search for this staff that apparently can imbue people with the power to airbend. So Aang goes after them to try and find the staff first. And instead, he finds Dave Bautista, the actor,
Wait,
frozen.
was it actually Dave Bautista? Oh, I
It
didn't
was
look it
Dave
up.
Bautista.
He just appeared out of nowhere and he's like, hey, it's me, Dave Bautista, the guy who played Drax in Guardians.
Whoa.
That's the
How?
guy.
What's he called in this movie? Do you remember his name?
Targa? I think it's Targa.
Targa. Targa is this ancient airbender who's been in stasis, like Aang was, and he kind of helps them along the way. I found this film very fun.
Yeah, me too. I thought there was some fantastic set pieces and some really nice character moments, and that moment to have someone else that can do airbending as well. And it's really nice to really see Aang be himself with airbending and how airbending's a lost form. the plot is very predictable in many ways that you like.
Sure.
Dave Bautista, I know you've been real nice towards Aang, but what do you really want to do? We'll talk about those spoilers. Yeah, the gang's all back. It's really nice to see them all together. I think my nitpick would be I would love to see a bit more of the gang. It's just the energy about them that just makes Avatar really cool. Everyone's just so ridiculous and so heartwarming. I think that's something that could have been a bit better to see grown up and like, what's their philosophy now? What's their lifestyle now? What do they do? That's something that I want to see more in this film, really. That's just a fun element.
Yeah, obviously it is called Aang, The Last Airbender, so we are focusing on Aang. But I agree, like it would be nice to see more of those guys. Now, I believe I do believe I'm looking at it right now. At one point when Avatar Studios was like, we're making a bunch of Avatar stuff, they were going to make 3 films in 2024, 2025, and 2026. So they were going to make a Kyoshi movie, and then a Zuko movie, and then a Korra movie. So clearly they had
Yes.
ideas of what they were going to do. And obviously things have changed a lot with Paramount and with Avatar. And at Comic-Con recently, they said that they weren't going to make any more. But I think that the idea that maybe we will get a chance to explore some of those other guys, because yeah, it's so nice to see them. It's so good to just be in this world. It's such a lovely, wholesome, we're past the series, we're past the 100-Year War and the conflict with the Fire Nation. And so
Yeah.
we get to just have a little bit more of hanging out. And when we kind of get the band back together, Zuko's chilling and we get a bit of comedy with him, and Toph is teaching people, and Sokka is inventing a flying bike. It's loads of fun, but the film's only an hour and 40 minutes. You don't get nearly as much as you want because it's been so long, and you're like, I want to see more. What a crazy thing. Do you know who voices Zuko in this?
Tell me.
It's Steven Yeun.
What?
Yeah, Zuko doesn't really speak very much in this film. Obviously, we know that Steven Yeun is very talented as a voice actor, but I just think it's
Yeah.
crazy that they had him and they just didn't really do much with him.
Okay. Who else is in the voice cast as well?
Well, Taika Waititi plays Gorilla Vark. Didn't know that was his name, but the one, the like thing that they find in the spirit world, and he's like, "Hey guys,
Yeah, I do recognize that voice, but there was
yes,
this quirkiness that I realized is like, oh yeah,
yeah."
there it is.
And
Yep.
then Kei Quan was Avatar Zian.
Yes, that was it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the other notable one that I wasn't expecting was Geraldine Viswanathan, who was Kalik, who I think is the one of the Denied, who they kind of focus on a little bit.
Yes.
There's a lot kind of going on. I think at its core with Aang and Targa, it's a good central thing, and the other characters are there and fun enough. But especially when it comes to the Denied, there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of moving parts, and there's like 4 main ones who have distinct weapons and stuff, but we don't really get to explore them at all.
No, I think that's the other issue as well. That, as you said, there's a lot going on in this movie, and the Denied is like, can we have powers? Can we just go and find powers? And it just didn't really explore their wants and needs or their motivation, to bend. It does get a bit convoluted in such a short amount of time. It could have been like maybe a bit longer, but there's some really good elements. He really wants to have airbending back into the world, but I think it just comes a bit lost in a way.
You don't necessarily feel Aang's loneliness in the first act, and so then when he meets Targa and they're kind of having a great time airbending, I would have liked more of that. This easily could have been a 6-8 episode miniseries. I'm glad it's a film, but you're right, it just needs to be that little bit longer. The thing is that a lot of animated films don't dare to go over 2 hours long. But I think if this had an extra 40, 50 minutes, 2 hours 30, I think it would have really benefited from it. But the reason why it shouldn't be a TV show is because the animation is so great, and you can only get this level of animation, really, with a film. So I'm happy that this film, it just looks sublime the whole time.
Yes, you're just immersed from the get-go, where we explore Aang's flashback before he gets frozen. That level of animation is so refreshing to see. I think it just reflects so well the TV show when you see that little burst of silly animation with the characters' faces. There was one with Sokka when he's telling his heroic tale of what he's done in the past, his goofiness as well. The animation, it doesn't really make it nostalgic, but it just links so well with the original show. The animation just makes it feel so warm and so exciting, and there's this level of adventure to it. if it was a show, boy, that would have been really expensive to do as a
Yeah,
show.
the animators are clearly the MVPs. The color and the movement and those facial expressions, like you say, all so great. There's a scene where they go into the spirit world and Sokka is the first one to land. And he is a kid again. He's the age that he is in the show. And I just thought to myself, oh God, are they going to do a thing where they're all the ages of the characters in the show so we can relive the glory days? And then immediately Toph is a baby. And I was like, what? Okay, hold on, this is cool. And then Katara and Zuko are old. A lot of this is stuff that's been touched on before, but it's just a nice little fun, goofy scene.
Yeah.
Momo is just a head and a tail. It's a very
Yeah.
surreal, it's fun.
It's just a round creature.
Yeah, I love playing around with that. It's really cool. And then at the end, we get some really great large scale action with the city falling down onto the other city. It all looks great. It all feels great. There's some kind of like, Super Saiyan-esque things
Yeah.
with Aang and Targa. And as a visual spectacle, the film is incredible. I cannot believe that we have to settle for streaming. Can you imagine seeing this on the big screen?
I would have died a happy man seeing that level of animation. This is really made for the cinema, and I just don't know why it was just pushed for streaming and it just barely gets any recognition. And this is a well-beloved show, and you decided to continue that on a streaming service. So now we're back into the negativity of it all. But I do want to say it's worth it to watch it as a visual spectacle.
Yeah, especially as fans of the original, along with those visuals. Being back in this world is so great. But there is that dark cloud, the dark cloud of how they've handled this. There's not loads coming out in August. Of course, there will still be Spider-Man and the Odyssey that will be out the whole month and continue to be juggernauts. But in terms of an animation demographic, there's not loads. Toy Story 5 is going to be out for a little bit more, but then other than what, Paw Patrol, for this demographic, if you wanted to move the release date forward, if you absolutely couldn't release it in October, just put it out in August and put it at the cinema because there's not much competition. We just had San Diego Comic-Con. They could have done a panel there and then get the marketing going, release it in August. Would have made loads more money. I watched this with a free trial of Paramount Plus. I'm not even giving them any money. They'll still see somebody signed up, so I hope that gives someone something because I would like to support the animators. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should keep it for the month.
Hey, this guy got free chow and he wants to support the animators. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a little bit contradictory of me, isn't it? Maybe,
Yes.
You know what? Right here, I'll promise I'll keep it for the month.
He's here for The Last Airbender, nothing else.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
People watch the leak, and
Obviously, yes.
it's such a shame. I'm massively critical of how everyone handled that. When it leaked, nobody should have watched it. The whole team, that whole studio of people who worked really hard on the film, you're just kind of spitting in their face, being like, yeah, we'll watch it now. We're not going to watch it when it comes out. And there are many fans who will watch it both and whatever. But it's one of those many things where piracy is not going to do any films like this that need support, that need to show the studios that they are important. Piracy, leaks aren't going to do shit for that part of the industry.
Yeah, you can really see the dedication that went in this. I think it hurts if people just decide to leak it, and Paramount didn't do really anything about it. It really hurts because this is a massive corporation and they didn't really say anything for the animators, for what harm this brought. And then this was the consequence. The movie just came out within 2 weeks of the announcement.
Yeah, cheers to whoever leaked that. Thanks very much. I hope it doesn't stop Avatar Studios from being allowed to make things, but as we know with Paramount, that's probably not necessarily going to happen. But let's get into spoilers. Couple of things that there is to talk about. Biggest twist of the bloody decade. Targa is evil. What? Well, you know what he is? He's racist. He really just hates...
Oh, he's racist, yeah.
He hates everyone that isn't an airbender and is like, I'm declaring war on everyone.
Yeah, he's like, if you're not an airbender, get out. Which, well, here's the thing. I knew it off the bat, what Dave Bautista's character is going to be like. The way that he was going, towards Aang, towards the people. And you can clearly see that in the tornado sequence, the Immortal Storm sequence, when he's like, yeah, your friends can sort it out. You can leave them alone. You can leave the world out. We can
Red
do
flags.
it, buddy.
Red flags.
We can do it, buddy. You and me against the world. We got it. Yeah, I think that could have been tweaked for Targa because it's a very flat villain.
I think it's because straight away from the beginning, you're like, this guy's going a little bit too hard that that something's up. Yeah, it never quite meshed. I think there's a lot of interesting parallels to be made with the real
Yes.
world and the idea of, oh, historically, we have been hunted down and we have been ostracized and killed in masses. And so now we have the right to do the same thing to other people. And I think there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Aang has an interesting arc as well of how am I gonna bring back the airbenders? Is that something that I want to do? And what's the right way to do that? And I thought that was all very compelling stuff. Again, it's just frustrating that we can't really dig into the depths of that.
Exactly, because the show really built up towards this
Yeah.
for Aang's character. That character development is right there, and there's so much history that went towards it. But unfortunately for us, we would love to really go into that depth, like the political side, all the nations all together, and like how much history it has. And there's a great message to it as well. I would love to really take the time to like really go back to watch all 3 seasons.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
That would be great. And I've never seen Legend of Korra, and I'd love to watch
Me
that.
too.
I was gonna do all that in preparation for this. And now that I've seen this, I still do want to rewatch it, but it's not quite as exciting anymore. And you know, all of that would have taken me 2 or 3 months. I like to pace myself with TV. So that's a bunch of subscription to Paramount Plus that they've now lost because they were just like, yeah, we're just going to drop it. So
Get it on physical. You want to get those
Yes,
3 seasons on
yes.
physical, guys.
they are on Blu-ray. Very worth doing. What are you going to give Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender?
I'm going to give
Avatar.
it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6.
All right, nice. I'm going to give it a 7. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Wherever you're coming from, YouTube, Spotify, wherever, like it, subscribe, follow, give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, we've got the premiere of a new DC show. And so, how else would we celebrate and prepare for Lanterns?
The DCU stuff that we watched so far. No,
John.
No. Green Lantern?
Yeah, we're watching Green Lantern.
We're watching
We're watching, we're watching 2011's Green Lantern, Ryan
Yes.
Reynolds.
Tune in for that, everybody.
Yeah, and you can send us an email, let us know your thoughts on Green Lantern. We'll answer it right here on the podcast next week.
Yeah, so you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram, Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme, and Ronan for logos as always. And I think that's everything. Take away given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.